The big $1 million question which had been raised for the longest time, who is going to be the Chief Minister of Karnataka, who will be taking over from Mr. B.S. Yedurappa, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, as difficult as it may have been for the BJP at the center in the state of Karnataka, this decision has now been taken that it will be Mr. Basavaraj Bommai who is going to be the new Chief Minister of the state of Karnataka. Syed Abbas is with us as well. Syed, how do you read this move? Yedurappa gone, all kinds of theories that he was, well, he'd crossed 75, it becomes 78. Some thought that maybe he has been made to pay a price for alleged involvement in acts of corruption. And now the entry of Basavaraj Bommai. How do you read this situation?
Well, what do I say? It was very interesting to hear my friend Tanveer, who's calling Yediyurappa a very tall leader, great leader, and in the same line he calls him corrupt. Very interesting to see the JDS line which he's taken. Nevertheless, I would say, Bhupendra Sahab, truly speaking, it had to be a Lingayat leader, irrespective of any party. I will tell you why. 17% of the population here in Karnataka is of the Lingayat. Also, as a matter of fact, Mr. Yediyurappa is of the Veera Shaiva Lingayat community. Now we have Basavaraj Bommai, who's a Sadara Lingayat. Also, let me tell you, 140 of the 224 seats here in Karnataka are all determined by the Lingayat vote bank. And in 90 seats of those, Lingayat vote bank are the winners who make it happen. So it had to be a Lingayat. There were names like a Ballad coming through, Baswan Gowda Yatnal. There were names like Ashwath Narayan, who could have been a good contender from the Vokkaliga community. But all in all, I'll tell you what played the epicenter here. When Mr. Yediyurappa called on for the 500 pontiffs, the BJP hierarchy was shaken. Here in Palace grounds, on Sunday, there was a huge conclave which took place in solidarity, in strength of the Lingayat vote bank. There are no two ways about it. 8 chief ministers in the history of Karnataka out of 20 have been the Lingayat vote bank. No matter who might say what it is, Lingayat, it is all the way. Therefore, Basavaraj Bommai to me was a top contender. Earlier in the day when I was on your channel and several others, I did say SR Basavaraj Bommai it is. His father was a former chief minister. This man from 2008, he has risen up the ranks, mind you. 13 years, dedicated force. Also was the home minister last time. And the lobby and the rein was in the word of Yediyurappa. When he had his meetings with the hierarchy, also when his son Vijayendra met the hierarchy there in Delhi, it was clear that it had to be a Lingayat. It was Bommai.
Well, that's the next question of Mr. Yedurappa. He has always, he's struggled. He was the one who brought the BJP, fought hard, converted the BJP into a politically fighting force, was the one who tied up with the JDS, Kumaraswamy, then got backstabbed, then again next time became chief minister, ended up going to jail, then fell out of favor for a while, then was bid to contest Lok Sabha, then again last elections was anointed as chief minister, but Abhishek Manu Singhvi led the Congress party at the door of the Supreme Court, and finally he had his way. What is it about Yedurappa? How will political history in Karnataka remember Mr. Yedurappa?
Well, I would say he's the most jinxed chief minister, Bhupendra Sahab. I will tell you why. 4 times he's been the chief minister. Not once did he complete his 5-year term. Also, as a matter of fact, in the Karnataka political history is such that only 2 people have been able to finish. 2 chief ministers, Devraj Aris and Sri Siddaramaiah ji of the Congress. Also, as a matter of fact, the fact that he was the only sitting chief minister, not just in Karnataka, but pan-India, during his term to go to jail. But nevertheless, he was acquitted later. Also, we need to understand here, the fact of the matter, there is a lot of infighting here in the Karnataka Pradesh Bharatiya Janata Party. Many of the lower run leaders of the BJP calling his son Vijayendra as the super CM, saying that he holds the remote control, calling the shots and corruption. Due to this infighting, another 2 years and we have the next 2023 Karnataka election.
And Syed Abbas is there. Syed, there was also some talk about 1 chief minister and then 4 deputy chief ministers. There were already 3 deputy chief ministers in the state of Karnataka. That there will be 4 deputy chief ministers from 4 different communities. What's the buzz there on the ground in Bengaluru about these 4 deputy chief ministers? Because we haven't heard on that front from Dharmendra Pradhan.
Absolutely, Bhupendra Sahab, you are right on the mark. And here the scenario in Bangalore is, the faction, the lobby which supports Shri B.S. Yediyurappa ji and of course the Lingayat vote bank, they are happy I wouldn't say, the tears or any of that. This is precisely what is appeasement of sorts which has been taken place. Yes, there were talks of having four deputy chief ministers. Why so? To keep the different faction, different lobbying which is taking place in the Bharatiya Janata Party to keep everyone happy. Now, let me tell you what the Bharatiya Janata Party, the hierarchy has been able to do, along with Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, and also we had Mr. Arun Singh and Kishan Reddy. They've played the game perfectly well. They have a Lingayat leader. They safeguard the Lingayat, the vote bank. They have a leader proposed and endorsed by Shri B.S. Yediyurappa ji. Therefore, Yediyurappa is happy. Also, the faction which was against Yediyurappa, who didn't want to see him as chief minister, that faction is happy as Yediyurappa is moved out. So this, I would say, is indeed a masterstroke in the history of Karnataka politics, where they have kept everybody happy. Yediyurappa's man in, Lingayat man in, and Yediyurappa is out. Fantastic, I would say. As a
what happens to his
analyst,
son? You were talking about his son as well, and I'm just wondering, the buzz that we were hearing in the national capital was that Mr. Yediyurappa was going out of his way to ensure that there is someone, there is some role that can be created for his son. Now,
I will answer.
Yeah, with Mr. Bomai in charge of affairs, what happens to his son then?
Bhupendra, his son has already, over the last 2 years now, as said and proposed by many of the lower rung leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, that he's made enough money, been corrupt, handling the remote control of the Karnataka government, also being the super CM as addressed by them. Also, as a matter of fact, Yediyurappa is a man who we know he's done great work for the BJP here in Karnataka. Also, this is only one part of the deal that we can see, sir, which is his man Bamai to be the CM. I am definitely sure in his respective meeting with the hierarchy of the BJP, I am sure his son Vijayendra is well taken care of. Either post in the cabinet or ministry coming through, or he is solidified as a vice president after Nalin Kumar Katil, who is the president of the party here, is already the vice president. I am sure as the days come, one by one, the card will come up close. So let's see and wait whether the Nataka in Karnataka is concluded or it is about to begin. But Bamai Shaw, next 2 years, is going to be the Chief Minister of Karnataka.
But what about,
and of course,
but the word coming out is that there will be 3 new deputy chief ministers under the new chief minister, Mr. Bomai. Now, the Lingayat community question settled. Well, the Vocaligas perhaps will be assuaged in some other form. The Dalit community, Kuruba community will be addressed in some other form. For the BJP as a political outfit, do you see the BJP now with Mr. Yediyurappa making way for Mr. Bomai? Do you see the BJP emerging as a stronger political outfit, or do you think the baggage of Yediyurappa, because Yediyurappa is also a tough nut? We've seen similar examples in the past. Uma Bharti, for instance, in 2003. Was forced to make way for Shivraj Singh Chauhan. And Uma Bharti tried her level best, to come back and get ahead of Shivraj Singh Chauhan. She failed. How do you see the relationship, which has been very good, and Mr. Yediyurappa is proposing the name of Mr. Bomai? How do you see the relationship between Yediyurappa and Mr. Bomai progressing henceforth?
Well, it is an open secret here in Karnataka politics that the main man of the Bharatiya Janata Party's tallest leader, Shri Yediyurappa ji, has been Bamai. The reason Mr. Basuraj Bamai became the Home Minister is Shri Yediyurappa ji. Also in the Karnataka politics, we've always seen the mentor and the mentee coming through, be it in the age of S.M. Krishna, be it the times of Siddaramaiah, and now the times of Yediyurappa. The very fact that before the official announcement could come in, it was a ringer, alarm bell going out to all the factions across BJP leadership in Karnataka when Yediyurappa stood up with the mic saying that I approve, I endorse the name of Basuraj Bamai, and then Dharmendra Pradhan making the official statement. So here I would say,
as well.
Mr. Yediyurappa.